welcome to the Cool Geography channel. And I'm wearing a Christmas hat because it's Christmas. I also have a Christmas jumper on. It says Happy Holidays. So I have decided that this video will be in two parts. This is the first part because I have gathered too much information for it, and I feel that if I put it all in one video, it's going to be about 2 hours long. So if I put it in two parts, it'll be an hour long each, and that's more watchable. It'll probably be like only 20 minutes realistically. But this will be about family traditions in all the different countries of Europe. Next year we'll do Asia. The year after that, maybe like Africa or something, I don't know. But yeah, so let's get started. First country will be Iceland. Now, in Iceland, there is a Christmas tradition called Christmas Bukflud. In Icelandic, I will try to read this, but I don't know how. Jólabúkflóð. I think that's correct, but I'll put it'll be up here somewhere, okay? And it's a Christmas Eve tradition, so a family exchange books and spend the evening reading them together. I find that people have a strong, they really like literature, so it's really popular. They read books. Next is the UK. In the UK, children often leave food for Santa, like milk, cookies, mince pie, and that's about it, so that Santa can get energy from going to like 2 million different places in one night. Third is Ireland. In Ireland, they have a tradition called the Wren Boy Procession, and it's where in December, the Wren Boys, which are now boys and girls, dress in costumes like straw, and it's just really colourful, and go around singing carols and collecting money for charity, which is quite nice tradition. Next is Portugal. In Portugal, some regions have a tradition of the Medieiro bonfire. It's a bonfire which is lit on Christmas Eve to warm baby Jesus. It's very thoughtful. It's also usually a large bonfire, so it's pretty big. Now for Spain, which I think is probably my favourite one. In Spain, in some regions, they have the tradition of cagatillo, which means the pooping log. It's before Christmas, so like in Advent, kids feed it with treats, and then on Christmas, kids beat it with sticks and sing to make it poo out presents, which is quite funny. Now let's move on to Andorra. Andorra hosts festive markets in their capital, Andorra la Vella, and they sell very many things there. I don't exactly know what, because I've never been there, but it's probably like food, Christmas stuff most likely, and different things. Now let's move on to France. In France, they have this tradition in a region called Provence. It's where people eat 13 desserts to symbolize Jesus and the 12 apostles, because that's when Jesus was born. Now moving on to Monaco. In Monaco, in a village or town, I don't know exactly, there's a Christmas village in Port Hercule. There's many things to do there. There's like food sold and drinks. You can play games. And there's just a lot of different things there. Now moving on to Luxembourg. I have changed Christmas hats because I think this one's better. But in Luxembourg, they have a tradition of St. Nicholas Day, which is on the night before December 6th. Kids leave slippers out or plates, and St. Nicholas comes to fill them up with sweets and maybe small gifts. And that's all for St. Nicholas Day, which is on the 6th of December. Now let's move on to Switzerland. In Switzerland, there's a tradition called the Trichle procession, and it's where in some areas cowbells and drums are used in parades from Christmas Day to the New Year's. So that's a very long time. Now let's move on to Liechtenstein. Surprisingly, I did find something for Liechtenstein because it's a very small country, but there's something called Paklefischen. It's where kids at markets fish for gifts from a box. It's kind of like a game. And now let's move on to Italy. In Italy, I found something different than a bit Christmas. It's a few days later, which is on the 6th of January. It's called La Befana, and she is a witch, and she brings sweets to good kids and coal to naughty kids to mark the end of a Christmas season. Now let's move on to the tiny country San Marino. In a city called Canton, you can watch artists create ice sculptures on the spot, which is quite impressive. Now let's move on to the city of the Pope, which is the Vatican City. On the third Sunday of Advent, there's something called the Bambinelli blessing, and it's where children bring small figures of baby Jesus to St. Peter's Square for the Pope to bless, which is quite a nice tradition. Now let's move on to Malta. After midnight mass in Malta, which I think it's on Christmas Eve, there's a lantern procession, and it's where children carry lamps and statues of baby Jesus through villages and sing traditional carols. I don't know any of them. I don't know any Maltese carols, but there must be quite a few. Now let's move on to the Netherlands, or Holland as some people call it. In the Netherlands, there's the Dickens Festival. It's a town, where towns dress up in Victorian attire for festivals, which is quite funny. I don't know if that's actually on Christmas. I just when I googled it, I found it quite interesting. Now let's move on to Germany. Now Germany's is a bit scary, but it's called Krampusnacht, which it's probably called Krampus Night in English. My German is non-existent, but if I have to use my existing English, that's what I guess. It's where this devil, I don't know what it's called, Krampus, which is a horned figure, and he accompanies St. Nicholas to scare misbehaving children. That's not very nice of Germany. Now let's move on to Denmark. In Denmark, they have the Julekalender. Julekalender. I think I said that right. It's a TV Christmas calendar where there's a TV series each day, 24 episodes for kids usually. It's like an advent calendar just on the TV. It's quite creative. Let's move on to Austria. I couldn't find a lot for Austria, so if you are Austrian, please tell me something. But in Austria, the Christmas carol Silent Night was written, and families like to sing it together. But it was written in Austria. That's the main fact, right? That's it. Now let's move on to Norway. In Norway, there's something called the Nisse, which is a Christmas gnome, and families leave out a bowl of porridge for Nisse, which is a gnome who protects the farm to keep him happy. Now let's move on to the Czech Republic or Czechia, either one. But in Czechia, instead of Santa bringing presents, it's baby Jesus, which they call Ježíšek. Now let's move on to my country, which is Poland, and in Poland, the families exchange an opłatek, which is a thin wafer. It's kind of like the church at the church, the bread at church, and families break pieces off and exchange wishes before eating the main meal. Now, for the last country today, we are doing Slovakia. In Slovakia, they have St. Stephen's Day, which in Slovakian is Štěpánska Zabava. It's the day after Christmas, so I think the 26th, maybe the 25th, I don't know. And it's a day for just partying and dancing and visiting family. That was it for part 1. There'll be a part 2 tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean the day that this video came out. It should be exactly the same time as this one, because I don't plan on changing anything. Also, how do you like my Christmas hat? I like it. It stands up. It doesn't really go down. Please do wait for part 2. I think it was this time where we did more countries, because next time I think it's 23. This was 24, because I've got 47 countries, so you can't put it even. Merry Christmas and bye-bye.